Today's episode of The Mom Game is brought to you by our friends at Gateway Buick GMC at LBJ and Jupiter. I know that buying a car can be stressful, but not at Gateway because their slogan is Gateway's Got It. And just what does that mean? Well, it means Gateway's got a wide selection of new Buicks, GMCs, and GM certified used vehicles, all competitively priced. Gateway's got it. In these busy times, you want a car dealer who makes things easy and convenient. Well, guess what? Gateway's got it. When you log on to gatewaybuickgmc.com, look for the Shop, Click, Drive button. This allows you to shop from the comfort of your home, and who doesn't want that? In fact, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, select your vehicle. 2, create your offer. 3, schedule your delivery. And on top of all this, Gateway Buick GMC offers complimentary car washes for life. So when you want a dealer who has it all, Gateway's got it. You can find them online at gatewaybuickgmc.com or shop in person at LBJ and Jupiter. GMC, we are professional grade. Experience the new Buick. And welcome to episode 188 of The Mom Game. I'm Emily Jones. She's Julie Dobbs. We are not together because, Julie, right now my life is an absolute shit storm show, all the things. Just
a big shit storm show.
Yep.
This is the thing. We've said shit show for so long, so many times that we need like a next level of shit show. So now it's a shit storm show.
It's a shit storm show for sure. We're not together because my life is in constant limbo for a good reason, because the Rangers are going deep into the Major League Baseball playoffs. It's a feeling we have not experienced around here in quite some time. It's been a ton of fun, but it is also so much uncertainty. When we were talking about shooting this week, we're like, well, we shoot on Tuesday, but that's an off day, and then we play Wednesday, and then what if we're on the verge of, clinching a trip to the World Series on Thursday, all the things. So we are recording on Thursday. It will be slightly abbreviated because we're kind of just trying to get everything in. But it's, the Rangers lost on Wednesday night to the Astros. The series is now 2-1, playing game 4 on Thursday, which is today. If we win that and then we win on Friday, we stay here. We go to the World Series starting at home. If we lose one of these next 2 games, we're for sure going back to Houston. I'm trying to figure out if that happens. If we win on Thursday, then we have a chance to clinch on Friday, but there's also a chance we have to go back to Houston. So then do I have to pack my bags when I go to work on Friday in the event that we go to Houston for 1 or possibly 2 games? So this is all just...
My stomach just started hurting, like thinking about your life.
So just trying to logistics of everything.
Maybe it was my coffee.
It's one or the other. But anyway, it's, again, not complaining. It's a fun time. I need to take these earrings off because I feel like they're clanging against my AirPods. Fun time, not complaining. Much rather be doing this than watching at home the entire postseason without my team in it. So
you might be going to Houston for the weekend if we lose another game. Yeah.
Yes. If we lose one more, we are guaranteed to go back to Houston for at least 1 game. So it's first team to 4. So it's whoever gets to 4 first.
Yep.
So here
we're at 2 and they're at 1.
We're at 2, they're at 1. As we tape the show, hopefully our kick-ass producer, Ashley, will get this out pretty quick today, since it's hopefully short and won't need a ton of editing. But it's been nutso. And then I've got some dog drama to fill you in on. The pet drama in our houses continues. We'll get an update. I want to update on your cat sitch. But first, I want to give out, we're not supposed to talk about them until later in the show, but huge shout out to Early Bird CBD, because I literally have leaned heavy on it lately.
Yeah.
Because as you can see by the 5-minute diatribe I went on to start the show, my mind is spinning in a million different directions. I'm not getting a ton of sleep because of the dog drama, which I will talk about later. But when it's time to turn it off, I pop a couple of CBDs or early birds and I am out, and that helps so tremendously. So if you aren't familiar with early bird CBD gummies, Jesus, I can't even talk. They are
You're
awesome.
doing great.
Thank you. CBD gummies with a hint of THC. So they kind of give you that, like this, like, for me, it's like not like a zzz, it's a zzz. And so that has been highly necessary for me. There is a code for a one-time use that you can use at any point in time, whether you've ordered with them or not before. You can use it. It's earlybirdcbd.com, and then the link and the code, which both work, is TMG20. So use that code, get you some early bird CBD in your life. It is a very, very good thing. So thank you to Eric. I had to email him because I ran out on the road, and I was like,
oh no,
I need help.
He's your drug dealer.
Please send reinforcements. So anyway, so thank
this is like
the
guaranteed way to do it too, is go to our Instagram. Who's calling me?
Whoa.
I know. Go to our Instagram, click on early bird CBD discount, and that will take you straight to the page where you can purchase your early bird at the discount.
Yay, early bird.
Yeah.
Game changer for this mama. Okay, so we'll get back a little bit to the Rangers in a minute. I want to get updated on you and the cat sitch. I feel like we haven't talked about that. It's been a couple weeks, right? Because we had Dan on last week, which, by the way, I'm so abrasive and just right to his face calling him a giant D and an a-hole.
But he was being abrasive.
Right. But
he started it.
He did. But that's how Dan and I roll. Like, I'm not, it doesn't, I mean, I just did find it funny that people who don't know that maybe we do have an existing relationship, they're like, dang, he's rough with her and she's rough with him. And
I know. I liked that clip that we pulled. I was just like, this kind of shows the relationship and the vibe of Dan in this show. And then he goes straight into talking about picking his nose. So it's like, let's pull this.
Yeah.
But no, we didn't even post game show that show at all yet, but that was a lot of fun to have him on. And then they used our studio too for the Dumb Zone, and I think hopefully there will be some like collaborating and working together a little bit with at least the studio and Cash, and they're trying to figure out their world of using video because they've only been audio up to this point. I saw they released some merch, so it's fun seeing them like kind of figure out get their sea legs in the podcast world and all that, because they have such a giant following that they're really trying to make something happen with it all. So it's fun to see all of that. It was fun to have him on. Always good to catch up with Dan. And y'all went right to it. I mean, he came right on like guns a-blazing, firing at you about the Twitter thing. I was like, geez.
Yeah. I will say it's cracked me up. So we were in Houston, and there was some Ranger fans there, and like after the game, we're waiting for interviews or whatever. And my photographer, Ashley Roche, who's awesome, and this Ranger fan was like, Emily, and I was like, hey, and he said something, and I didn't really understand. And Ashley goes, oh my God, did you hear him? And I said, no. And she goes, he said, I miss you on Twitter. I started dying laughing. I was like, that's hilarious.
You laugh, but I think it's true. People are missing you on Twitter.
Well, and John Blake, when we were in Houston, my boss, and he goes, so are you getting back on Twitter or what? And I was like, no, why? Why would I? He's like, I don't know. I just didn't know if like you were just being reactionary and, just kind of, did that because you were pissed and whatever. And I was like, no, I really honestly was looking for an excuse to leave. I mean, I just feel like it's becoming a grosser and grosser place, and somewhere that you really can't believe what's going on, because especially with like the monetization of things, that just it's really dicey, because you've got people like, I'm like, if sports people are just throwing out hot sports opinions so they can get engagement, and they can slide those those ads in there and they're getting paid on it, then what kind of crazies are out there saying all kinds of stuff that may or may not be true.
Yep.
So anyway, there are times when I miss it, like, for, seeing like keeping up with stuff, like, but I will tell you, like, I've read more articles in the last couple of weeks than I have in years, where I'm actually like seeking out information instead of just having it like, scroll through a feed and click on a link. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it is what it is. But I did think that was a funny little interaction I had with a fan.
That is funny.
Okay, so cat sitch, what's happening?
Oh, no, well, so nothing really has changed besides that when we went out of town a couple weekends ago. And for those who didn't hear that episode, I was telling Emily a couple of weeks ago about my cat. She's 14 years old and she's peeing and pooping and throwing up all over the place. But apparently she's healthy. So it's really weird. I don't know what to do with it. What do you do with a cat that's pooping all over your stuff or peeing on your things? And I don't want to turn into cat pee poop family. But we went out of town a couple weeks ago. So I thought, I'll board her at the vet, which we've never done. And while there, they can like kind of keep an eye on her for like 4 days. And I paid, extra or whatever for them to actually do a physical. And they did like the poop float thing. It's like fecal float thing or whatever. And so we went to pick her up after being out of town, and it was like, $260. And they were like, no, everything's fine. They were like,
great.
everything looked great while she was here. I think you just have a grumpy cat on your hands. I mean, she is old, but like all the blood work's fine. Everything's fine. So at least that made me feel better that the vet doesn't think she's like dying or something. But even if she was dying, it would at least give us some answers. And
right.
So no, I think she really is just mean, and she's just I don't know. There's still no answer to this dilemma. I don't know what to do with her. We're trying to block her out of our room and stuff, like as much as we can. And sometimes I even put her in the laundry room where her food and water and litter box is if we're leaving, because I just don't trust her. But yep, still got a grumpy cat on my hands now. I'm $300 poorer too. So
okay,
it's all good.
Were you around your grandparents much as they got older?
Yeah.
So I feel like my grandparents, especially on my dad's side, as they got older, they got like super cantankerous, super grumpy, and then just kind of to the point where they're like, F it, I'm just gonna say whatever I want to say.
Yeah.
Like,
no filter.
What I mean? I feel, well, I think I reached that a little too early in life, but
yeah, I feel like you're supposed to do that when you turn like 70.
I know. God bless me. But I feel like maybe that's what blueberry.
No, that's a good point. And
cranberry
honestly,
or blueberry? Which one is it? Sorry.
It's cranberry. Blueberry's in heaven. Yeah.
Blueberry's in heaven. Okay. Yeah.
Blueberry's in heaven.
Cranberry's just like F it. Like I can do whatever I want.
I think you're right. I think this is her way of having no filter.
And honestly, I want.
As grandparents get older too, sometimes they need bathroom help. So
it's true.
So
grandparents.
She's just a grandma.
Grandparents. They're just like cats.
It's true.
It's true.
Or cats, they're just like grandparents.
Put that on a throw pillow.
She's just a grandma.
George Dunham would say.
She's grand cranny. Or granberry.
Granberry.
Instead of cranberry.
I like it.
She's a grandma cat. No, that's a good way to think about it. I think that's her whole deal. Is she's just cranky and having some bladder and poop problems.
That sucks.
If bladder problems mean you pee everywhere, what do you call it when you poop everywhere? Butthole problems?
What is that the medical term for it?
Butt problems? I don't know. Poop problems?
Butt issues.
Yeah. I've been hanging on with Jeff Kavanaugh and Mike Reiner too long. That's like all they want to talk about is like farts and poop and sex. I mean, so much sex talk him.
Really?
Yeah, with these guys and porn stuff and strippers and big boobs, and it's just so funny. I know I just switched, but speaking of grandparents, my God, Mike Reiner kills me.
But
he has no filter.
So I wonder, is there an age where that turns off? Like where you're not
like, it's weird.
How old is Reiner?
He's 73.
I feel like we need to get him back on the show and talk about this.
He wants to. Let's bring him back on. Yeah.
Okay.
We can get him in studio.
Because at some point it's got to be like, man, that just seems like too much.
So what I've noticed is he says that part of his life like has gone by the wayside, but he still gets like I can tell that he gets like all horned up, like just from talking about things, and maybe not even horned up, but like he definitely doesn't let any chance go by to like comment on boobs or comment on someone's appearance or what he thinks is hot or not hot. But then he says that like he doesn't, like those days are over when it comes to the actual act.
Okay. I wonder if that's just like with other people, or is it over like self pleasure?
I don't know. I don't know. But like talking about all that stuff with Mike, it just kills me. It's like kills me.
Yeah, it's weird. That is weird.
I always,
Well,
no, going back to Dan, like I now more than ever, not to get into this whole topic, but like I now more than ever see why Dan would say like he's playing radio, or like what you just go with the flow with radio, but it's not real life. Like I would never sit
right.
down and talk to Mike Reiner about his sex life or anything like that. But on the radio, it's like just so normal to have these conversations.
Which seems like it should be the opposite, right?
Yeah.
Like, because a lot of people can hear you talk about all the things on the
I know.
radio.
I know.
It's
Maybe
very
that's why I don't
strange.
have a bunch of mom friends from school.
They're like, what is she going to bring up over wine?
I'm not letting my kids go to her house.
Oh my gosh. She talks about sex with that old man on the radio.
I know. I mean, the sense of humor is very childish, but I think I mean, you have to talk for 4 hours a day, so we get bored. Those kind of topics
Yeah,
are very exciting, right?
I hear you. Well, no
Yeah.
judgment here, sister. No
Yeah,
judgment here.
I know you fit right in with us.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, what was I? Oh, so I was going to tell you about my animal drama.
Yes.
So in Houston on, I think it was Saturday, Henry has a tournament. So Mike and I are, texting, talking, whatever. And I tried to talk to them on their way to Henry's tournament, and everything was fine. And like 20 minutes later, I get a call from Mike, and he's like, "Hey, I need to tell you something, and you're not going to want to hear it." And I'm like, fuck, why is it always when I'm out of town? And why are you starting a conversation like this? I don't like it. But anyway, he was like, so Izzy and Gallo got into a really bad fight, and they play fight a lot, and sometimes it escalates. But or maybe it was even Sunday. It was Sunday, and it does not that it matters. I don't know, or maybe it was Saturday. Yeah. Whatever. Doesn't matter. My brain is mush. So anyways, like, they got into a huge fight. Like, it was really bad. I'm really concerned. I'm not letting them be around each other. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, and then immediately I started thinking like, okay, if they can't coexist, are we gonna have to find a new home for Gallo? My kids are gonna be crushed. I'm gonna be crushed. Like, I can't, what is happening? Like, my mind immediately went to like the worst case scenario.
Yes.
So anyway, so Mike's kept them separate for the rest of the time until I got home. So when I got home Monday night, so anyways, like, there's a huge gash in Gallo's ear. He said they're being really weird around each other. Gallo's scared of Izzy because Gallo started it, but Izzy finished it, whatever. And, and then I'm thinking like, my mom comes over here sometimes to take care of the dogs, Miss Vicky, my kids, like, if they get into it, like, the first thing I need to do is communicate to them. Like, if those dogs get into it, you're just going to have to let them see it through. You cannot try to get in the middle of it because they could hurt you. So that was priority number one, is to let everyone who, is around them. And if that happens, like, you're just going to have to let them go because they're crazy. Yeah. I mean, not crazy, great, whatever. So anyway, so I get home on Monday night, relatively late, but the dogs are separated. One's in the kids' room and one's in our room with Mike. And then, so I get them together, and Gallo's terrified. Like, they're not interacting. So I kind of encourage them to interact. So at this point it's late. And then I'm like, I don't, if I put Gallo in the crate, he's going to bark. And then if they're not, because they're used to being in there together when they sleep. Anyway, so I'm like, F it, I'm just going to sleep on the couch. So I sleep on the couch with two dogs. And they start to kind of warm up to each other, as I was laying there and all that kind of stuff. Izzy starts checking on Gallo, licking his ear, like, so she was being sweet. So I sleep with him on Monday night. And then Tuesday, I'm home all day. I called Jimmy, my dog guy who we love. And Jimmy's like, let me come get him. And I was like, well, Tuesday, I'm going to be home all day. Let me feel things out. So he's like, this is totally normal. Like, don't be worried. Like, we can fix this. Everything's going to be fine. Because I was stressed out and crying and whatever.
Oh no.
So anyway, so Tuesday, I'm with him all day. Miss Vicky's here, and we look at Gallo's ear, and I'm like, this is pretty bad. So I take him to the vet, and sure enough, they need to stitch it up. So they stitch it up, and then he comes home with the cone, and the cone was a disaster. So the cone lasted like 3 hours, and
Oh no,
no,
yeah.
now we're just watching them to make sure, because they still want, now they're like back to normal. Buds, let's play, and roughhouse. And I'm like, you can't with the stitches in the ear. And so anyway, it's just been this whole like, so I slept with them again on the couch on Tuesday. And then finally Wednesday night, I was like, I've got to sleep in my bed. And so I let them sleep with us. But the thing is, I don't want Gallo messing with his ear, and I don't want them messing with each other. And I just want to make sure everything's copacetic between the two of them. And so I think we're over the hump. Jimmy's going to start coming to our house and working with them to make sure. I think they need a little more, like, I've been gone so much. I think they're just kind of crazy right now without, the
Like
normalcy of,
consistency. Yeah.
yes. So anyway, Jimmy's going to start coming once a week to our house to work with them. And I think I need to be better about walking them daily or more regularly. So anyway, I just was like, it was such a panic. And then immediately I thought, like, I'm going to have to, give up the dog, one of the dogs. And anyway, I don't think that it's definitely not going to come
So
to
they
that.
haven't fought like since that one bad one?
No, they've tried to play, but we can't have happen, because I'm afraid something's going to happen to
Yeah.
Gallo's ear. So it's not like, I mean, they're going to be able to play eventually, but yeah, they haven't like fought, or, they're virtually, I mean, essentially they're back to normal. But I mean, these animals, like, we love them so
Jeez.
much.
I
And it's hard.
know.
And
And they're gonna
again,
have to coexist.
I
Yeah.
know. And shit's expensive. Like, I think it was like
Yeah.
$350 to get Gallo's ear stitched up. But I mean, worth it. Because if not, I mean, all of it's worth it, right? Because you love these
Yeah.
things, and they're your family and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that was
Oh my
animal,
gosh,
like,
getting
at
that
the
text.
worst time.
Right.
So
Oh, well, I'm glad it wasn't like worse,
yeah, it could have been way
but
worse. Yeah.
I can't
And then I
imagine.
wondered
You
if
got to
it
be
was like,
tired.
if it had something to do with the eclipse.
Yeah.
Like, because they said that it can make animals do crazy stuff.
Really?
Yeah. Or did I make that up?
I don't
I
know.
don't
I
know.
mean, I don't know. I believe it. I don't know
Yeah,
how, like, I don't know how that science would work out, but
I
I
don't either.
believe it. And I believe that people
I
were
mean, think
saying
about
it.
like changes in the weather and different things like
Yeah.
that
Like
make
something's
dogs.
just off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's my dog drama.
Oh, yeah. Good
But yeah,
timing.
yeah.
Good
Well, it
timing
is
for
what it
dog
is.
drama.
I
Yeah.
know. And then too, Henry, Henry went to LA without me for the
Yes.
Cowboys Chargers game. So shout out to my sweet, sweet friends, Lisa and Jennifer. We planned this trip, when, I didn't really know what was going on with the Rangers postseason wise. And B, there was a time when we didn't, like, they were like, Bally's is not doing post game shows. And so I was like, well, then I'll just be watching like everyone
Like
else
everyone
from my
else. Yeah.
couch, or, as a fan in the stands or whatever, but I didn't think I was going to be working. So anyway, we booked this surprise trip for the boys. We did it a couple years ago at the Chiefs Cowboys game, took them on the road trip. And so, but as the season progressed, and they're like, yeah, we're definitely doing post game shows. And I'm like, oh dear. So we'll just roll the dice. And so anyway, ended up being where, I was definitely not going to be able to go. And so Jennifer and Lisa were like, of course we will still take Henry. And
Oh,
got to tell him, and how, his buddies were surprised. Henry wasn't surprised, because I had to tell him before I left town to make sure
but he
everyone knew what was
was
going
so
on.
pumped, I'm sure.
But they had a blast. So they go to SoFi and cheer on the Cowboys, and the Cowboys won. And so that was super fun. But it's a stark reminder of, as great as my schedule has been the last, especially this season, only working 80 games, that, like, you still miss stuff, and
Yeah.
that was a big one. That was a big one to miss. And it hurt my mom heart. And it's just
I
like a
know.
stark reminder that it's never easy, and it's a constant juggle and balance. And two, just letting people help and letting people be there and do things that you can't be there for. And so super grateful to those girls for taking him. Yeah. But yeah, it sucks to miss stuff.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Oh, it does suck.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
know.
and honestly, like, so, uh, like, I had, after my hysterectomy, I'm on this like hormone patch to still get hormones, and I kind of ran out of it. So I don't know if my emotions over the last week have been higher because of that, like because the hormone patch kind of helps regulate.
Yeah.
like my hormones or whatever. But the last like week, I have been in the biggest rut about missing kid stuff. And like my new schedule is wonderful for, compared to the mornings. I didn't like the mornings, but not being there after school every day, like now I think with the weather turning and like I used to just sit out in the yard and the kids would play or we'd go shopping or we'd go do something fun after school and like it's been killing me like just this past week and I'm hoping it's the hormones because I'm like this is
Yeah.
my schedule now, but I know it's like and it's like you're talking about like it's never easy and I didn't like mornings and now I don't like afternoons so like I'm the problem, it's me. Like
It's
how do
me.
you yeah,
Hi.
like how do you be a working mom and make it all work and how do you not be annoying to your employer? Like if I go to my boss now and I'm like, well, you know what, this is also bad for me, he's gonna be like, well, what the fuck, like why did we hire you, you know what I mean?
Right.
So and it's not it's great, like the show is great, the job is great, I love it, but it's just like that, I think with Anna being kinder age and like not having her see me when she comes out of school every day, even though Kelly's there or our nanny is there. But I've been feeling that too, Em. So it's like just, interesting that you mentioned that with having to miss the trip with Henry and all that. It's like your mom heart never gets better. Like it's not like
No.
the longer you do it, the more you do it, you're just like, oh, this isn't going to affect me because I'm used to it. Like it's always going to affect you. And if your son is, Henry's age or if your daughter's Anna's age, like it's always going to be hard when you have to miss anything.
Yeah. And it's like I've told my friends that get pregnant or that have little kids that maybe aren't in school yet or whatever. And I remember thinking this when I first had Henry, like, and I was, I was traveling, went back to work. Like, I think it was like 3 weeks after I had him because we were in a
Mm-hmm.
playoff run and it was important to me. And I remember it being so hard and thinking, God, I can't wait till I get older. That way it won't be so hard. And it's the complete opposite.
I know.
Logistically, it might be, well, I mean, logistically, it's even harder because now they have activities and stuff. And
It's like coordinating
there's,
carpooling.
yes, and there's more things to miss now. And now they know when you're not there. I mean, when they're 1, 2, they don't know.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, just whatever, give me some goldfish and a juice box and I'll be
Right.
sweet.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's just it's a constant struggle, and I think it's normal that we're having those feelings, and it's normal to. I mean, it's also too, we have to remember that this is what we signed up for.
Yeah.
We've both said that we are not cut out to be stay-at-home moms and not work. Like, it's just probably not in our DNA, and it makes us a better person, wife, mom, friend,
Yeah.
everything, to have this balance. But it's trying to find it, and it's a constant effing battle,
I
that's for
know.
sure.
In our industries,
Yeah.
it's just a lot of times you have to work these hours,
Yeah.
and I'm even going till 6 now instead of 7. Like this shift used to go till 7, which I think I would have tapped out by now, like having no
Yeah.
time with the kids pretty much. But yeah, it's just tough. But I think that's why it's really great that we have this and we have the mom game, because when you tell these stories, you realize how many people are feeling the same thing. And it sometimes feels like especially in my little world with our school and everything, it feels like all the other moms like don't work and they're at everything and they're so involved in everything, but they're not. Those are just the ones that you hear and see the most, I think.
Yeah.
But there's so many other moms that are not that and that are trying to figure it out and are trying to juggle it all and making the most of it. And we still have plenty of time with our kids, don't we? Like we still
Yeah.
are there for most of the things.
And that's what I think that you're looking for. And I hope that we provide here a little bit of, is that just like the community of, like, like-minded people who are going through not exactly the same situations and circumstances, but that can identify. And so I feel like, that's what we try to do, is put ourselves out there. So hopefully people can identify with us, and then they give us feedback that they've been in the same
Yep.
situation and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I agree. I think that's what's so fun about what we're able to do here on the Mom Game. Okay, a
Yep.
couple things I want to get to because I know we
Me
gotta
too.
we gotta wrap up soon. So I wanted to get to
Yeah.
that Instagram video thing. Did you watch it that I sent you? So there's
I
this
didn't watch it yet.
girl.
I was at the
Okay,
library.
okay, oh, that's right. You had library duty. See, you're good, mama. Okay, so I sent
I'm
it to
trying
you.
him.
So there's a girl on. Oh wait, what's her name? Okay, so we're gonna have to splice it in. Hopefully Ashley won't kill me. God dang
Mary
it.
Ebert.
No,
There's
there's one that's a funny mom. And
the
okay,
hot mess super mom.
no, okay. So yes. And then, but I want to find the original girl. She's got like 330.
Is
Julia
this her?
Morales sent it to me. So that's the hot girl. Yes. So she's young. And so if you watch this Instagram video that she does, she's like,
Little
I
Jimmy
mean,
Choo
she's
bag,
wearing
which I
like
think
short
goes with
jean
the
shorts,
heels. Feel
cut
like a
off,
mom
a
picking
cute
up
like
her
little
kids
tank
from
top,
school.
Yes.
crop top, and a baseball cap, and then like some heels. And she
She
is doing this.
looks like Tyler
Should we tell
Sagan's
her?
wife.
She's
Who's
beautiful.
gonna tell her?
Yes.
Alex Earl is her name. Alex.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Alex.
okay.
Okay. So she does this video. She's 3.2 million followers on Instagram. So I had not heard of her. But apparently she did this video and she's like in these heels and cutoffs and like tank top and a cute little ball cap. I just feel like I'm going to pick up my kids from school. And so then this one mom, whatever the reel I
The
sent
hot
you,
mess super mom.
yes, and she's like, what we all wear, to most of humans wear to drop our kids off at school is like basically pajamas or workout clothes.
Yes.
And then she's like pulls her out. She's like, who's gonna tell her? Who's gonna tell her? Like, this is not what moms do.
Should we tell
This
her?
is not how moms look
Who's
when
gonna
we
tell
drop
her?
off our kids at school. So I think what we should do is next time, so tomorrow morning, when you take your kids to school, I want you to snap a selfie. Like, we don't
Okay.
have to do the whole participate in the reel, but maybe Ashley can make it cool. And don't go over the top. Don't be like super cash, super whatever, but like
Yeah.
what you take your kids to school in, like on a normal day. And so I think we should each have one so that we can provide our little, this is what moms really look like when they go to school, not you
Yep.
hot ass blonde in
I
your
know.
heels and cutoffs with a perfect body that I don't even think has kids. Like, it was
Well, and pickup
hilarious.
sometimes
Like,
is even worse. I don't pick up anymore, but pickup sometimes, because that's when people really have time to like, they'll spend like an hour getting ready or whatever for
getting
pickup.
cute. But
And
this
even all these
girl is like,
volunteer shifts. Oh, I know.
I know. But anyway, I thought that was hilarious. I thought it was really, really
Yes.
funny.
I know.
So yeah,
We
Ash,
should
hopefully
have
you can do
that
something
chick
fun with
on.
that. And then we'll take our own pictures and add to
Let's do it.
fun. Okay, what else were we going to talk about?
Well, we need to
Wrap up.
How are you feeling about the Rangers?
Okay, yes. Rangers.
Last night Scherzer wasn't what anybody wanted to see out of him. How was he?
Nope.
How was that whole situation?
He was fine after the game. He felt fine physically. Here's my thing on Max, and you can second guess all you want, and you knew it was going to happen if he did not pitch really well. He was going to. It was the decision was going to be criticized. Here's my thing: you don't have a ton of options starting wise. You have to remember that. Like, John Gray has been out. He wasn't even on the ALDS roster. He's been injured. You've got the Heaney Dunning combo, which will go in Game 4.
They're a joint. They're a package deal now.
I feel like there are. It depends on how long Heaney goes. Martin Perez, which a lot of people don't know, got 2 cortisone injections in his back when we were in Baltimore, I believe. So he pitched in Game 3. So I think he's okay, but I don't know that. I mean, everyone's dealing with something at this point. So I'm just saying, this staff knows their options. This is my thing about Max Scherzer. You have Max Scherzer on your roster. He says he is ready to pitch. You have seen evidence with your own eyes that he is ready to pitch when he has faced major league hitters on his own team, granted, but still, this is as close as you can get to a rehab assignment at this point in the season. This is it. If you go to the World Series, you've got a possibility, and if this series against Houston goes to 7 games, you've got a possibility to see Max Scherzer 4 times total in the postseason.
Yeah.
So are you telling me that you're going to say, I don't know, we're not really sure? Or are you going to say, we got to see what he's got. We've got to see what he has so we can see if we can go to him in a Game 7, in the World Series, in his regular spot, whatever. You have to see at some point what you have with him. And so I feel like up 2-0, taking 2 in Houston, coming back home for Game 3, there was no better situation than to put him in that. There was no better situation to put him in than that one.
Yep.
And so I get why they did it. I don't second guess it in the least. If this were Cody Bradford coming off this injury, do we treat this the same? 100% no. but this is Max Scherzer. And like I said, you had at some point, or you just going to be like, oh, we're just not so sure. So we're going to leave him off the CS roster and the World Series roster if that happens. You just can't do
with
that.
him
That's
sitting there telling you that he's ready. Like,
exactly. So that's my whole point on that. I'm fine with it. I wish we could have gone up 3-0. It didn't happen. But bottom line is you got to win 4. And so we've got 2, they've got 1, and let's get it on.
Who's starting tonight?
Also, tonight is Heaney, and I would assume Dunning first out, just depending on how long Andrew can go. Did we talk about the watch parties
not on this show? Yeah.
Okay. So we've been talking about it on social media, but super cool. If we do go back to Houston, there will be a watch party at Globe Life Field for the games on the road in Houston. Apparently it was a great turnout, lots of fun, great way for fans to gather and, experience that together. Could be super cool. Hopefully we are already clinched by then, but could be super cool if the Rangers do clinch in Houston. It would be super cool to be around a bunch of other Rangers fans. And then I World Series, I don't know. I would assume, but nothing official, but I would assume that would continue if that happens. Just fun to be talking about the possibility of a World Series. We're 2 wins away. It is not going to come easy, but I am loving this ride. I
bet it's a roller coaster, but it's
exactly.
a shitstorm show. It's a good roller coaster to be on. And with
so
those
no
watch
telling
parties.
where we'll be. No telling where we'll be next. Oh, so watch parties. We've got information on our Instagram. I think we can provide a link there. It's just go to texasrangers.com, I think, but you should be able to find it.
And I was just thinking from a mom perspective, it'd be, if you want to get your kids to the ballpark, but you don't want to pay for a ticket for a home game, you can bring them out there. And if your kids are young, half the time they don't even know the difference or care, right? If they're watching it up there or not, but to be there with all the fans and then not have to deal with like the giant, massive crowds and everything else, like kind of takes out some of that ugly part.
And if you follow Globe Life Field on Instagram, they've always got all the details there too, but we'll put stuff up on our socials as well. So no telling where we'll be next week. Could be in studio. I could be on the road. Who knows? But
stay tuned to find out. Ride the roller coaster with us.
Yes. Okay. Well, thanks to Ashley, our awesome producer, for getting this out as soon as she can and being flexible with us this week. And Julie, hang in there, Mama.
Thanks. You too.
And get your hormones.
I found an old patch. Like I'm good.
Okay.
I got him.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right. Have a good weekend. Go Rangers.
Okay. You too. We'll be watching. Go Rangers. Okay.
Go, Mom.
Game out.